Hi, Book 8. For this one, we have a pretty well-known Last Stop on Market Street. I hadn't heard of this book before I found it, but it is a Caldecott Medal, a Newbery Honor Award, and a Coretta Scott King Award for illustrations as well, which is amazing, and it's won multiple awards from the New York Times, Washington Post, so it's a very well-known book. It's by Matt De La Pena, illustrated by Christian Robinson, published by J.P. Putnam Sons, which is an imprint of Penguin in 2015. So the age range for this is 3 to 5. I think that that's pretty accurate. I think you could probably go to like 6 just because it's a pretty universal book and it's also has a really good message and the illustrations are interesting to look at. Um, so here on the front we have CJ and his grandma, and they go on the bus every day, and that's how they get around the city. So they start the bus on this, and then they actually like finish the rest of the bus on the back, which is pretty cool. I like when books do the spanning of the page because whenever you open it this way, you can see the whole thing. And then on the inside cover, they have this kind of like art of different, like the butterfly, a dog, just kind of in the same style that the whole book's in. So it gives it a nice, fun feeling. Um, but then once we get to the inside, I've never seen anything like these illustrations. They're super, super unique. Um, it's really cool because here you'll see like the people on the street don't have any faces, and it's just like this is like a title page. It's like an acknowledgement page. But they do that through, or the illustrator does that throughout the book, where like these people now have faces, and you can see CJ on the steps with his grandma coming out of church, and this is the story of him questioning his grandma. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why do we have to ride the bus when my friends have cars and that kind of stuff? And Abuela, sorry, his grandmother tells him that he has to find the good in things. He has to see how beautiful things are around him, and she teaches him to appreciate things in life that he wasn't noticing before. So I like this page because you can actually see like the level of detail differs for each page. So for this one, you can actually see the reflection in puddles while they're walking in the rain. And the illustration style, the art's made with acrylic paint and then collage and then some digital manipulation, which you can see kind of like with Poncho Rabbit, where uh, it is seen or in a page that there is somebody reading a newspaper. You can actually see, oh, here's the page. You can actually see like real newspaper print. So that's the digital manipulation. But a lot of the time, things are a little bit messy. It's fun. It's cute. I know we're not supposed to use that word, but it's cute. Uh, it's whimsical. It's interesting. There's mostly just like straight shapes. It's not really like uh, rounded, continuous, realistic looking art, but it usually spans the gutter. Like a full page is what you're reading. The author does tend to keep the words in white spaces or just in blank space in general. There's not any like text to illustration interaction at all, but you don't really need it because the illustrations speak for themselves. And I like the representation in this book that you have a blind man. The main characters are black, so you have that. Um, they're in a more urban area, so this would definitely be a good story for kids that do live in a city, and it's different from, if they're reading barnyard books, that's not really going to appeal to them because they don't know what that is. So this is definitely, you can understand if a 4-year-old sitting next to a tattooed man and a woman with her jar of butterflies on the train. So I think that in that respect, it definitely gives a good perspective. Um, so I also like that the grandmother never gets annoyed. She never gets mad at CJ for asking her these questions, for being ungrateful or anything. She always is very kind and says, "Well, wait, like let's look at it a different way. Let's appreciate all the things around us. Let's appreciate the man on the train that's singing because he has a beautiful voice." And then CJ gives him a quarter. Um, and there is this moment whenever they do play the music where CJ gets into this little fantasy. And I think that it's nice to have a little moment of that because kids during their day do kind of drift off into their own world. And this is CJ's own world that he's experiencing on the bus. So I liked that. I like how like the butterflies here look like cutouts, but then CJ looks like he's been freshly painted. So it's really an interesting art style, and I understand why it won so many awards because I don't think that I think it's really special and different. Uh, but I do think that it's funny that in one page everything will be so detailed, and then in the next page this person doesn't even have a face. So it all depends on the perspective of CJ for who's getting attention or who's getting a face, and then they end up at the soup kitchen at the end helping out after church. So um, appreciating the little things, learning to see beauty in places where you wouldn't normally look. Those are really important things to teach children, and well, at least I think so. And I think that being appreciative of your own way of life and helping others at the end is a really nice way of doing this. So definitely also a good one. We'll keep you posted for the next one.